Hey everyone, Morgan here from the Wayne Public Library with Quarantine Crafts number 4 for our National Library Week. Got my trusty tray of craft supplies, and the things we're going to use today are super simple, and we've already used some of them for our last 2 crafts really. So the only size paper that I have is this is a piece of construction paper, and I am going to use a piece of white paper. If you only have like office paper, that's fine. Use what you have. We are also using, if you have any leftovers from our marble maze, I do have some leftover cut rings. Okay, or this is the rest of a paper towel roll. So is this one, or toilet paper rolls. And just need a few more of those to complete this craft. I am going to be using a Sharpie for my outline. If you don't want to use a Sharpie, just use a regular black washable marker. I have my whole beautiful array of markers that we used for our day 2 craft, the coffee filter flowers. And again, I still do not have liquid Elmer's glue, so I will be doing my entire craft with stick glue. I recommend Elmer's liquid glue for this project. I will just be doing my very best. So other than that, just a pair of scissors. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to try and draw a very large fish shape. And if you have a larger piece of paper, that's even better. That'll make this craft even more fun. Now, in the past, I have forewarned you that I have no artistic ability and drawing is not my thing. So don't make fun of my fish, please. I am very self-conscious. So I'm going to really try and I want a really big body. So I'm just going to show you. I'm going to start literally at one end, go all the way over, and literally we do want a tail. Since my paper is kind of small, I am drawing my tail to be like off the page. So you're going to mimic this on the bottom side. I did already do one in preparation of being far too nervous to draw on camera. So I made a really big line down here, and you can see this tail is going off here. And this is just representing his body separate from his head. Gave him a cute little eye. That might be the only part I'm kind of proud of. And so this is my fish shape. Like I said, if you have a really big piece of paper, that is awesome. You probably don't have to go off the page like I did. But this is what I have. So this is what we're going to use. So I'm done with my black marker / my black Sharpie, whatever you're using. Now we're going to go on to our pre-cut rings or our solid tubes. If you're starting from a solid tube again, what's really nice is you can make your one cuts. If you fold it kind of like this, you get a straighter cut, I think, which is fine. Now, this is a little different than our last craft. These ones you want kind of thin. So I'm going to do this literally, I'm trying to get about 1/4 inch. So I want to show you the thickness of that one is a lot smaller than the ones we were making for our marble maze. So if you have some left over from your marble maze, it's okay to fold them and try and carefully cut those just in half. And so I'm going to make a good number of these because we're going to use these as our fish scales. So I'm going to cut, and you work on your cutting and drawing of your fish, and we'll meet back here. Okay, so I've got my nice little pile full of our scales. And unlike our marble maze, we're not going to squeeze them into a round. We want them to kind of stay in this like petally oval shape. So the only thing that might be a little difficult is when you cut them, they might get a little whopper jawed. They're not fully flat because it's just hard to do. But that's okay. It is okay as long as it attaches on the majority of the scale on your paper, you're all right. So if you have liquid glue, which I do highly recommend, I say get a paper plate, pour a little bit out or squeeze a little bit out onto it till it's kind of a thin layer. And it is really a lot easier to take your scale and dip it right into that liquid glue and then place it. However, since I do not have any Elmer's glue, I am going to do what I did on the marble maze, and I'm going to squeeze it together and just make sure I get those ends nicely coated. Okay. So it's up to you where you want to start, but I think it's going to be easier to start at his little neckline here, his little gill line. And so literally, and it's okay if your scales overlap or go off the fish some. So I'm just going to place that down and I'm going to push it down. So my first one is literally just like that. So I'll show you one more and show you how they're going to go. And then you can work on it and I'll show you what the end result's going to look like. Just going to place it next to it. Again, like it's a fish scale. See that? And then I'm going to start by going all the way down. So I'm going to work on that and we're going to get yours going. Okay, so this is how my scales are going so far. And what you're going to do is you're going to put your next layer in between your two. And for every indent, you're going to put a new one. So hope yours is looking good too. So I'm just going to get glue on this one. I'm just going to show you and then I'm going to do my next layer. I'm going to show you where I'm putting it. And you can make your scales as big or as small or variegate them, change the shape of them. I think I probably will be changing the shape of mine as I go through the fish depending on what parts are needed. So you can see this one's a little bit bigger, but see how it fits nicely in there, kind of like a scale. So I'm going to continue with my next row. Okay, so I thought I'd show you my progress so far. So on my third line, you can see I started going down and following the curve. And now that I'm starting the fourth line down here, I kind of went in between and starting to go up. You're not going to hit every point of your line, but that's okay. I think it looks fun so far, and I think once we get some color in here, our rainbow fish is really going to come alive. Now, in retrospect and looking back at it, I kind of wish I would have made these scales a little bit bigger, but that's okay. It's, like I said, nothing's perfect, and I'm not perfect. The only thing I keep doing, and this is good for liquid glue or glue stick, I just keep kind of reinforcing it and putting it, pushing it down as I'm going along and adding. So I'm going to finish up my tail, and then we'll see how it looks. All right, so I finished all of my pieces, scales on my fish, and I did something kind of silly. I thought it'd be kind of funny to make the scales kind of go off the paper just because I didn't have that big of a paper, but I think he looks super cute. I like him. So what I'm going to do now is, well, I'll just show you. I'll take this right now. You can take a book, anything heavy, put it over all the scales, kind of help them press down. Let it sit for a half hour to an hour, especially an hour if you use Elmer's liquid glue. Probably about a half hour for glue stick. So after that dries, we're going to come back and I'm going to show you what we're going to do to make this our rainbow fish. All right, well, I got carried away. So after I took my pressure off, after I let it dry, I got coloring. And all I did was I took my marker and I kind of hold my finger down on the scale I'm working on. So I just kind of traced it and then kind of like scribbly, like did my marker in here. If you wanted to use paint, I was thinking while I was doing this would be way cool with paint. But this is a fun, simple craft that makes something fun and colorful, and that's okay. I used a separate piece of paper underneath my tail end so that I didn't color on my table. But this is my finished rainbow fish. I think he looks pretty cute. Like I said, I'm not an artist. I thought about something else that might be cute is to do, like maybe he's gulping water out, or the air's coming out. So we do a big circle here, smaller circle, just kind of like you've got some movement. So there you go. And there's my rainbow fish. I hope you like how yours comes out. I did add one little gray scale. So after, if you remember the story of rainbow fish, you know, he gives his colorful scales to all of his friends that don't have any. So there you go. You've got your own rainbow fish. I hope you guys have a great day. And we'll see you tomorrow for our quarantine craft number 5. Bye.